Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. Guys, I've got two parts to this video. I've listened to Eddie Hearn's comments and firstly, I want to talk about, I'm going to be talking about Canelo and I'm going to be talking about Dillian Whyte. I'm going to do Dillian Whyte first because I normally start off with Canelo, then do Dillian Whyte second. But I'm going to start off with Dillian Whyte. I'm pretty sure all of you guys listen to everything I have to say and you're interested in what, not just about Canelo, but about the other fighters as well. So let's start off with Dillian Whyte first. I know you guys are going to watch it, even the Dillian Whyte bit. But sometimes I don't know whether some of you skip, if when I do two parts, or whether you skip to the bit where it's about Canelo, or you listen to the Canelo bit, then don't listen to the other thing. I think you listen, I think from the analytics, a lot of you watch it all the way through because I've got that data. So I thank you guys for, watching all my videos and supporting the channel and watching my videos all the way through. It really helps because when you watch it all the way through, it really helps the algorithm. It helps YouTube push the videos out more. So thank you very much. But yeah, I'm going to start off with Dillian Whyte. Eddie has confirmed that, Dillian Whyte is probably going to take the Tyson Fury fight. Now, we know that the WBC has given Dillian Whyte a deadline to sign the contract by the 21st of Feb. In order to go ahead with a fight. So there's a deadline for that particular fight. Otherwise, probably Fury's going to move on. And also, it's a deadline because then I think Dillian Whyte might not be the mandatory anymore. He might be removed from that position. So it looks like Dillian Whyte is going to take the fight. Listen, look, here's my opinion on it. I think it's too good a deal. It's too big. It's the money that's being offered to Dillian Whyte is too much for him to turn down. The opportunity of fighting for a heavyweight championship of the world and getting $8 million plus. Here's another thing, guys, that I don't know if you guys know. The WBC are going to withhold 10% of it, and the winner gets 10%. So Dillian Whyte has an opportunity to make another $4 million. So it could be $12 million if he believes in himself and wins the fight. Now, a lot of you are going to say, well, Dillian Whyte's not going to beat Tyson Fury, so it's not really going to matter because he's not going to get that $4 million. That's going to go to Tyson Fury. But at the end of the day, if Dillian Whyte is going into that fight, it's not all about the payday. It's about the win. Then you've got to look at it. Dillian Whyte's got to look at it. I'm going to get 12 million here. That's more than what he was asking for in the guarantee. And if he doesn't take the fight, what people are going to brand Dillian Whyte as is a guy that it was all about the money. Because Dillian Whyte, as he says, I'm the can man. Anyone can get it. People are going to say, well, he's not really the can man, is he? He's not really the guy that fight anybody. It's about the money. Yeah, listen, we all know that fighters say things that it's not about the money. We all know it's about the money. We all know how important money is to all these fighters. But Dillian Whyte, for me, would be throwing away an opportunity of a lifetime. I just don't know how Dillian Whyte could turn away this offer. It would be crazy for him to turn away that offer. $8 million to fight for the heavyweight championship of the world, plus an extra $4 million if you win. I'm sorry, I just don't see how you can turn that down. Like, Dillian might feel that he's worth more than 80-20, but I think $8 million is by far his highest purse. Right? It's by far his highest purse. I just don't see how he can turn that money down. It's too big a amount for him to turn down. I think it would be a crazy decision from Tyson Fury from Dillian Whyte to turn that down, bearing in mind he could possibly make $12 million if he wins. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. $12 million if he wins. That's a serious amount of dough. And then imagine if he wins. Imagine what's going to come with that. Probably a rematch where he's going to make probably 20 million. So I just think the opportunity is too big. And most importantly, he needs a title shot. If he doesn't take this opportunity, God knows when he's going to get. Because here's the thing. Joshua's going to fight Usyk. The winner of that's going to fight Fury. Right? It's not like the belts are scattered here. The belts aren't scattered. There's two guys that have got the belts. And they're most likely going to fight after Usyk Joshua. The winner of that fight is going to fight Tyson Fury. So the chances are Tyson Fury will probably fight someone like Joe Joyce. And Dillian Whyte's going to have to get back in the queue because no one's going to give Dillian Whyte a shot. The only guy that I can see giving Dillian Whyte a shot is AJ because of the rivalry and the fact that it would be a big fight. But someone like Tyson Fury, unless Dillian gets into a mandatory position, why is he going to be interested? Just like he's in the mandatory position now. That's the only way he's going to get a fight with Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury is going to be like, who's Dillian Whyte? Usyk's going to be like, who's Dillian Whyte? You know, it's not really a big fight unless Dillian Whyte gets himself into a mandatory position. Those guys aren't going to pick him. Because he's not like he's an AJ or a Wilder, because Wilder again is also a big draw in the heavyweight division, and he may be able to get fights as well. But Dillian Whyte, he's kind of like in the who needs me club. Unless he gets into the mandatory position, you can't really see him getting the shot. So I think Dillian Whyte has to take this opportunity. Look, I've always said about Dillian Whyte that he believes in himself. He's a fighter that believes in his ability, believes in himself. So I believe he'll take the fight. I believe he believes he'll win as well. Because that's just the way that's the makeup of Dillian Whyte. That's just the way he is. He doesn't go into a fight thinking he's going to lose. That's just not Dillian Whyte for me. You know, this is a guy that believes he can beat anybody. He's very confident. He's an intelligent businessman. Listen, I understand that he probably isn't happy with the 80-20 split. But I think sometimes I just think the deal's too good to be true. I think the deal's too good to turn down, irrespective whether he's happy with the split or not. I just think the deal's too good. But, you know, I think people were getting worried because there's silence from Dillian Whyte. He's not said anything. You know, he's not said anything. And as we've said before, the WBC ain't going to give Dillian Whyte any favors, you know, after the relationship they've had over the years, after him publicly criticizing them and the back and forth between the two, then the legal stuff that he's done in the back. You know, I can't see them doing him any favors. So, in my opinion, the best way would be to take the fight. If he believes in himself and he believes he's going to win, take the fight, beat Tyson Fury, and then you're the king. You're the king of the castle. You're the king. You're the emperor. You have then taken over heavyweight boxing. You are the main man in the heavyweight division if you beat Tyson Fury. So that's the motivation. And here's the thing for Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte is fighting the #1 heavyweight. So if he wins, he becomes the #1 heavyweight, because he would have beaten the #1 heavyweight. So he takes that mantle. He takes that spot. Yeah, in order to decide who the legitimate best heavyweight, you have to fight Alexander Usyk. But if he beats Tyson Fury, who is now considered the best heavyweight in the world, he would then be the best heavyweight in the world. And Usyk would have to come see him. So this is what I'm trying to say, that I think it's too good an opportunity for Dillian Whyte to turn down. He's not just fighting for the WBC title. He's not just fighting for the Ring Magazine title. He's not just fighting for the highest career payday of his career. He's also fighting for the #1 spot in the heavyweight division. He's fighting for that. So for me, it's just too good a deal to turn down. It's too good. It's too good a deal to turn down. He needs to take that fight, in my opinion. He needs to take that fight. That's just the way I look at it. People may disagree. People may look at things differently. I just think Dillian Whyte has to take that fight. Let's move on to the second part of the video. Eddie Hearn also spoke about Canelo and Jermall Charlo. And Eddie Hearn said that Canelo, he goes that they've offered him Golovkin and Bivol. And Eddie Hearn was talking about it, and he was basically saying Jermall Charlo is the easiest option out of the 3 fights. He's the easier fight. So do you guys agree with that? Is Jermall Charlo the easier fight? Eddie Hearn said the Golovkin fight is brutal. The Bivol fight is a tricky, horrible fight where, Bivol's a very skilled fighter. You have to agree. Is Jermall Charlo the easier fight out of Golovkin and Bivol? I'd have to say yes. It just depends though. I don't know how much Golovkin has deteriorated, because going off the first and second fight, they were hard fights for Canelo. And Golovkin has proven he belongs at that top level, because look how much trouble he gave. Look how much trouble he gave Canelo both times. So if we're going off that and Golovkin hasn't deteriorated badly, then we have to say that, yeah, Golovkin would be a way tougher fight, because I can't see Charlo giving Canelo the fight that Golovkin gave Canelo the first or second time. No chance. I don't see that fight. So, yeah, I have to agree with Eddie Hearn that Charlo is the easiest option. And believe it or not, even though Golovkin is a massive fight, I actually think that the Charlo fight might be the most lucrative fight. So it's not just the easier fight, it's the most lucrative fight as well. It's the most like Charlo's definitely an easier fight than Bivol. He's definitely an easier fight than Bivol. Like I said, I would personally say Golovkin's a harder fight than Charlo. It just depends on how badly Golovkin has deteriorated. If Golovkin has deteriorated badly, then who knows? Maybe Canelo stops Golovkin. You know, if here's the thing, Canelo will only stop Golovkin if Golovkin is deteriorated badly. Otherwise, Canelo ain't stopping Golovkin. Golovkin's too tough. He's never been down before. So this is what I'm saying. In order for Canelo to stop Golovkin, Golovkin would probably be shot to bits. Because as we saw in the first and second fight, Canelo threw everything at Golovkin and Golovkin didn't move. You know, so the only way Canelo's stopping Golovkin, a guy that tough, a guy that's never been hurt in his career. Like, Canelo's been hurt early on in his career. I know he was really young, but Golovkin's never even been hurt. Golovkin's like, and even as an amateur, if I'm not mistaken, he's never been hurt. This guy is like a machine. You know, so if Golovkin was to get knocked out by Canelo, you'd have to say that shows that, you know, he's deteriorated as a fighter. But yeah, I'd have to agree with Eddie Hearn. I definitely think that Charlo is the easier fight out of the three. And I think, most importantly, I think Charlo is the most lucrative fight out of the three. So I think Canelo Alvarez isn't just fighting the easier fight. He's also getting the biggest payday out of the three as well. So I think, like Eddie Reynoso said, that fight makes perfect business sense. It makes perfect sense. Whereas if you look at the, Bivol and Golovkin fight, yeah, Golovkin and Bivol will be big fights. Bivol, financially, I don't know what they would offer him for that. Like, I'm pretty sure they'd offer Canelo a 2-fight deal where it'd be like, oh, we'll offer you 100 million for 2 fights or 80, 90 million for 2 fights. It'll be something along those lines. So it won't be like fight to fight. It'd just be a deal, 2-fight deal where he fights Bivol and Golovkin back to back and they pay him like 100 million or 120 million, something like that. I think that's the only way it'd work. But Charlo, as Eddie Hearn said, Canelo may opt for that option because he may feel that Charlo's the easier fight and it's also a big payday. It depends on how much DAZN are willing to pay him for those 2 fights. You know, it depends on how much, because if they are willing to pay him 100 million, but I don't know whether it's all about the money for Canelo. And what I mean by that is it the fact that Canelo only wants 1-fight deals because he knows that he only wants 1-fight deals because he wants to be in the control of his own destiny. He doesn't want to have to kind of be fixed and be told what he has to do, because it's a bit like waking up one day, right? And you won't feel like eating something, right? You don't want to have a fixed timetable where you wake up on Thursday and you know you're eating that. You're waking on Friday. Because on Friday, you might not, what you have timetabled on Monday for Friday, you may not want to eat that on Friday. You may want to eat something else. And the same with Canelo, for example. Canelo may decide right now that, okay, I want to fight Charlo. But if he's now fixed in a fixed 2-fight deal, he has to fight Bivol and Golovkin. But he might fight Bivol and say, you know what? I don't want to fight Golovkin. I want to fight Arthur Beterbiev. But now he's already forced into a deal with DAZN. So Canelo wants freedom. He wants to make the decision. Like, he wants to sit down with Eddie Reynoso and sit down with his team and say, okay, I want to fight Beterbiev. I want to fight Bivol. That's how Canelo wants to operate. He wants freedom. He doesn't want to go in 2-3-fight deals with these guys because he wants freedom. He wants to decide what he wants to do. Like, look, Eddie Reynoso has said that they're going to fight in Las Vegas, so the Charlo fight makes sense. Now, the reason why, I don't think the Golovkin fight would happen in Las Vegas is because out of the two fights, if Canelo's going to fight somebody where he's going to fight in Mexico, it's going to be Golovkin because Golovkin's style is, a lot of Mexicans like Golovkin's style. So that would be a monster fight in Mexico, whereas the Bivol fight in Mexico won't be as big. Right? Like any fight that Canelo has in Mexico will be big. But what I mean is a Golovkin fight would be huge in Mexico. Right? Whereas a Bivol fight is not as big. Right? But is Bivol really a massive fight? Bivol's a big fight, but is it a Las Vegas fight? Probably. But is it as big as the Jermall Charlo fight? Absolutely not. So Canelo might be willing to fight Golovkin. And I actually think he may fight Charlo and then might fight Golovkin in Mexico. Because the only two names that I think make sense in Mexico are either Golovkin or David Benavidez. I think they're the two names that I think make a lot of sense for Canelo in Mexico. I think those two fights will be huge in Mexico. I actually think Golovkin fight might be bigger than the Benavidez fight in Mexico. So, yeah. What do you guys make of what Eddie Hearn says? Canelo is, Jermall Charlo is the easier fight for Canelo, says Eddie Hearn. Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about Dillian Whyte. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.